Let's talk about follow-up, all right? Now, it's funny to talk about follow-up because some people think, what does that even mean? Okay, yeah, I send emails to people. Is that follow-up? Follow-up is the most important thing I can teach you. I swear to you. It is the most important thing. When I put it into the book, if you've read the book, there's a whole section on follow-up. My publisher came to me and said, you want to do a whole chapter on follow-up? Everyone will fall asleep. And it is the best chapter in the whole book, based on the reviews that people have given me. Okay, so let's talk about follow-up and why it's so important. And let me tell you a quick little story about how I realized that follow-up was so important to becoming a better salesperson and actually getting more deals done. In the beginning of 2012, I got a call from a random person. It was a husband and a wife, and they said that they wanted to find a place on the Upper East Side. Their budget was between $1 and $2 million. Awesome. This is the beginning of my career, really. You know, $1 Million Listing hadn't come out yet. I was still trying to meet new people, and I got a random call to my office for someone that wanted to spend up to $2 million on the Upper East Side. That's amazing. And so I showed them things for like a week. They looked really cool. They were wealthy. They drove a Range Rover. I'd never even been in a Range Rover. I was super excited. And then they completely disappeared. And then they popped back up a couple months later. Well, we changed our mind. We don't really want the Upper East Side anymore. We saw what we could get for the money. We don't like it. Let's see the Upper West Side. Okay, at least I didn't lose them. I showed them things on the Upper West Side for like 2 weeks. And then they disappeared. I don't know why. And then they came back a couple months later. We don't really like the Upper West Side. Can we see things downtown? Can we see things in Brooklyn? Can we see things here? For about a year, for all of 2012 and a little into 2013, I went on this pattern with them, showed them things all over because I didn't want to lose them. I really, really, really didn't. And I knew that they would buy. And then they disappeared. Totally. But I followed up every week. I would just send listings. I'd say hello, little sweet nothings. Fast forward 5 years to March of 2017. I send my weekly follow-up and the husband writes back. 5 years later. And he says, hey Ryan, so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I've been a little busy. Really? For 5 years? You've been busy? I call him 4 seconds later, okay? Picks up the phone, says, hey, he apologizes a little bit. No problem, I'm here. I haven't gone anywhere. Life is good, man. No worries. Says, yeah, I've gotten divorced. Really? No way. And I want to find something cool. I want to be in Soho. And my budget has changed. Really? What's your budget now? Between $15 and $20 million. A week later, I sold him a place for $17 million in the middle of Soho. That deal never would have happened had I not been active about my follow-up and the different ways that I followed up, which is what I want to talk to you about now. Follow-up, for me, is broken down into 3 things. Follow up, follow through, and follow back. They're my 3 Fs. Really, really important Fs. Think about the 3 Fs like a golf swing. Now, if you don't play golf, you've probably seen someone play golf, right? They kind of grab the club and they hit a ball and then they go get it and they hit the ball again. That's follow-up. The first part of follow-up is hitting the ball. So that's keeping everything moving. So if I meet a client and I see them out at night, the minute I leave there, I send them a follow-up email. I say, so good seeing you 60 seconds ago. Really looking forward to talking tomorrow. And no, it's not too soon. Because they're gonna be excited that you are so on top of your game, because trust me, no one follows up the way I do. And I don't just harass people, I'm not annoying about it. I follow up with value, the same way I have information of value. Because I'm reminding them, hey, you wanted to meet tomorrow? I'm following up and letting you know that you were awesome and our meeting was great. Looking forward to meeting tomorrow. And I'm gonna stay on top of them over and over and over. So I send emails and follow-up and different types of follow-up to everybody. With that client who bought that place for $17 million, every week I would send a different type of follow-up email. I would send mostly listings because that's what they wanted, and they would never respond, but that's okay because guess what? Email is free. I already have it. Follow-up is free. You don't have to spend money on it. Picking up the phone, you already have a phone. It blows my mind how people don't follow up. There's so much money out there that you have lost or you will lose because you didn't just follow up with people and stay on top of them because you got too lazy or you didn't remember or you didn't have FKD, Finder Keeper Doer, structured out to remind you to even just say happy birthday to somebody. Craziness. So I follow up with everybody. I also use a little program called SaneBox. And this isn't a sponsorship. I actually use it. SaneBox is an email plugin that plugs into Outlook, which is what I use, works with Gmail, works with everything, that allows me to have different types of filters to help me follow up. It's got one folder called Sane Later, which moves emails into a different folder to remind me I should follow up with these people later. It also has a folder called Sane No Replies, which has all the emails in it that I've sent that someone didn't reply to. Have you ever sat there and you're like, oh shoot, I sent that email, they never replied to me, and it's weeks later? This program actually helps me remember that somebody didn't reply to me. So on Sundays, when I'm in the office doing my work and work office Sundays, I look at that folder and I get to send happy little emails to them saying, hey, you get this? Question mark, question mark. Hey, just want to make sure you got this on top of it. And then if they don't respond to that, next week, it's back in that folder and I can see that they didn't respond either. And I'll follow up with a phone call. So something as simple as setting that program up, or something as simple as just adding to your calendar to follow up with different people at different times, will get you hitting more balls, which is what we want to do. That's the first F. The second F is follow through. So picture again, hitting a golf ball. Follow through is the follow through. That's following through with the swing. And if you've never played golf, that follow through enables you to push the ball where you want it to go. So if you don't follow through, right, if you hit the ball and go like this, the ball is going to like go all the way over there. If you have good follow through with your swing, the ball will go where you want it to go, which is what we want to do. And when I say follow through, I mean doing the things that you say you're going to do. If you tell a client you're going to send them listings by 5 p.m., do it. If you tell a client you're going to research the neighborhood and get them information on their questions, do it. If you tell yourself you're going to get a gym membership in the neighboring town because you want to meet people and you want to start doing more deals in that town, do it and go there. Follow through with what you say you're going to do with other people and with yourself. I wake up early. We've talked about my calendar. That's a follow through for me to actually do it every day. I set goals for myself every day, every week, every month, every year. I follow through with them. Otherwise, I might as well just throw them away. That's follow through, doing what you say you're going to do. And then the third F is follow back. That's following back with clients that you've lost. That's following back with clients that you've had who don't need to buy or sell anymore because they just did, and you're saying things like happy birthday, or hey, happy closing anniversary. Here's a comparable sale for a house that just sold next door to you. They got X. Oh man, you bought at the right time. It's following back with all those clients you didn't get, and you keep reminding them that you were the better option. And you don't do it in a crazy way of saying, I was the better option, you jerk. Why didn't you hire me? No, you do it in fun ways. So here's an example of how follow back can really work with a past client or a client that didn't give you business before to help get you future business. There's a big developer in New York City. I sell a lot of buildings. A while ago, I had pitched a small building and I didn't get it. He gave it to somebody else. It really upset me. But I stayed on top of him. I followed back with him over and over and over so that I could hopefully come in and pitch for his next building, which then happened. A really big building, way better than the one that I actually lost. So I was like, actually, this is more awesome for me. And then he never got back to me. But instead of following back with him email by email by email, I did something different. I wanted to show him that I was creative with how I worked because I knew that's what he was looking for. So I sent him a bookshelf. True. I sent him a bookshelf. And then every day after that, I sent him a different book. Part of my keeper time, and one of those days, was budgeting. If I have to buy a book and send a book to somebody every day for a year or more, how much is it going to cost? Can I afford it? I did all that. And so I sent him a bookshelf and I sent him a book every day. And I put a note in the book every day, reminding him why I'm the best broker. And he never got back to me. And then one day, a long time after that, I get a random email from him and he says, you want this building? Let's do it. Stop sending me books. I didn't need him to send me emails over and over. I didn't need the phone call. He knew that I was persistent. He knew that I was on top of him. He knew that I was creative. And that's how I got that. Now, would I suggest sending bookcases and books to every client? No. For one, it's expensive. And two, it's kind of crazy. But with that client, it worked for me. With other clients who haven't given me business, I followed back with them in different ways. I've stayed on top of them. I've showed them where I was doing other business and how I was being really successful elsewhere. I had a building in Tribeca where I lost that one too. They hired somebody else. that person only sold a few units in the building and then they couldn't get the rest sold. And the developer came back to me because I had followed back with them over and over and over and gave me the other units in the building to sell. And they said, you know what? We probably should have gone with you from the beginning. And I said, you know what? You probably should have, but it's okay. We're still friends. Let's get this thing sold. So that's the 3 Fs. Follow up, follow through, follow back. Hitting the ball, which is following up. Following through with your swing, which is following through. And then following back is getting the ball and putting it back in play so you can keep hitting it over and over and over so that you always have as many balls in play as possible. If you remember anything, it's the power of follow-up will create more deals for you that you otherwise never would have done.